next guy was JuJu. So you were basically saying that JuJu can come out and he can be a Pro Bowl caliber receiver and kind of be the guy that he was early on in Pittsburgh, when they had AB, when Big Ben was a much better player. And I like that a lot too. I think in terms of like fantasy this year, he's an amazing fantasy pick. I think he's pretty clearly in terms of the wide receiving core, because I think Travis Kelce's the main guy there, but I think he's the other guy. I think he is the number one receiver there. I would be extremely shocked if anyone was able to be the number one there. And I think he's going to have a fantastic season. I think this is going to be a pretty big resurgence here for JuJu, because I think JuJu was a little bit overrated for a while, and now he's become a guy that's like drastically underrated.
Yeah, it always seems to happen, especially with, JuJu Smith-Schuster is very controversial because people hate him because of his TikToks. And if he didn't make those TikToks, I don't think anybody would talk about him. But he was playing on a team where it just didn't work. JuJu Smith-Schuster is, kind of a slot receiver. He's very physical, but he can also beat you over the top. I think he's the only player. I think he has the 2 longest receiving touchdowns in the last 5 years in the NFL. I think they're both 97 yards, which is just unbelievable. But it's he's very explosive. And now he's in a Chiefs offense where, he's not the focal point for the first time in, since Antonio Brown, in Pittsburgh. And he was that year he was unbelievable. He came out of college young, out of USC. I want to say he was 19 or 20 years old. And it was man, this guy's going to be an absolute stud. And then AB got hit by Vontaze Burfict, and it was just whatever happened to AB, I don't know. And then it was okay, JuJu, you have to be our guy, but also Big Ben's going to consecutively get worse, and we're going to lose our run game. Our offensive line is going to become bad. We're not going to have a tight end. And save us. And he's not that type of player. I don't think that's why he wasn't a first-round pick. He was a mid-round guy because it was this guy can be a great role player. This guy can be a really solid wide receiver in the NFL. He can be, a stud. But he wasn't drafted to be, Devontae Adams. He wasn't drafted to be Antonio Brown or Calvin Johnson. It was, hey, let's get the guy next to AB. And JuJu fit perfectly in that mold. Now he's going into Kansas City where Patrick Mahomes is going to find a way. For some reason, I don't know why, but it always feels like Patrick Mahomes is somehow underrated by a lot of people. I don't get it. But Patrick Mahomes is going to find a way to get anybody to ball out that plays wide receiver with him. And now he's got a guy, because Patrick Mahomes loves to throw these weird passes, right? Where it's oh man, I don't know if I would have thrown that, but at the same time, he was open. JuJu's going to get the ball in space. JuJu is very good after the catch. He's difficult to bring down. He's physical, and he's got breakaway speed. Put that in the Chiefs offense. And they got Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Mecole Hardman, playing wide receiver as well. That's already speed. Teams are going to be watching over the top because of that speed. JuJu is going to destroy the middle of the field with Travis Kelce. Underneath and across the middle of the field. I feel sorry for the linebackers playing zone coverage because, they are just going to get torn apart over and over again. And I think that is going to be one of the scariest pass-catching duos, maybe the scariest pass-catching duo in the NFL. Not because they're Travis Kelce is the best, but not because the two of them are the two best at what they do. It's because they're both doing a similar thing that is just destroying every defense. Mahomes is going to feast with JuJu. If you are playing fantasy football, PPR formats, half PPR, JuJu Smith-Schuster is an absolute must get, at his ADP and stuff like that. But, getting back to the Pro Bowl, one, he's playing with the Chiefs. And so that's automatically going to get you primetime games. That's automatically going to get you a spotlight because you're going to have highlights with Patrick Mahomes. You're also going to be really good. It's hard to make the Pro Bowl when your offense sucks, like the Pittsburgh Steelers offense has. You look at teams where it's oh, yeah, they had 8 Pro Bowlers. They had 7 Pro Bowlers. It's why? Because they're really good. And it's not oh, well, that's obvious. But when your team overall is really good, players that may not necessarily warrant a Pro Bowl and, guys that are underrated because their team sucks don't make it because the fans don't know about them. It's fan voting. JuJu Smith-Schuster is going to be in the spotlight once again. He's going to get a lot of votes because he's playing with Patrick Mahomes. He's going to put up great numbers. He's going to score touchdowns. He's also going to have a lot of ESPN dances that are going to be put up. the Jackson Mahomes videos may get kind of annoying. I don't know if he's going to make any of those with him, but we'll see. We'll see JuJu's TikTok presence this year with Patrick Mahomes. But
I wanted to bring up one more thing about the Chiefs because you brought this up, and I agree with you. Somehow the Chiefs always get like underrated. Like people kind of look at them now like, oh, they're going to take a step back. They lost these guys. Look at their division. It's not a very strong division in terms of off-ball linebackers, and they have Travis Kelce and JuJu to go in the middle of the field, and they have a bunch of guys that are extremely fast. They're going to destroy teams with the speed over the top and Mahomes. And Mahomes is just going to have quick hitters open all day because they're going to have to respect the deep ball. So they're going to spread it out. They're going to play a lot of like probably more spread than we've seen with Mahomes, even though they spread out. You know, they bring extra receiver out quite a bit. But we're going to see a lot of that, just kind of letting Mahomes just go and make plays or just do quick dump offs and just get a few yards and let Travis Kelce sit in the stop. I mean, it's hard because like if you go man, you might get burnt quite a bit. But if you go zone, Kelce and JuJu are just going to eat you alive. Like the receiving quarter works. That's the thing. It might not be big in terms of names or anything like that outside of Kelce, but it definitely works from a scheme standpoint. So I think they're going to be pretty good there as well.
Definitely. I think like also, yeah, I like how you brought up the off-ball linebackers, but they're going to be in shootouts. It seems like every divisional game that they play in, it's going to be a shootout. Chargers, Raiders, Broncos, those are all shootout games. And they're, again, Pro Bowl is based on the media perception. You know, no matter how good you are, if you're not making highlight plays, people aren't going to vote you to the Pro Bowl. JuJu Smith-Schuster is in the media no matter what, because one, people are talking about his TikToks. Two, he's doing funny. I love his touchdown celebrations. And three, he's making big plays. And now it's going to be Patrick Mahomes' sidearm throw or Patrick Mahomes' no-look throw. JuJu Smith-Schuster catches the ball, trucks over a DB, touchdown. That gets you to the Pro Bowl. And I know there's a lot of really tough wide receivers. You know, they're going to be vying for that in the AFC. But how can a wide receiver from the Kansas City Chiefs playing with Patrick Mahomes not make the Pro Bowl? You got to have one. Because Mahomes is going to put up, 4,800 yards. He's going to put up, 35, 40 touchdowns.
They might be underselling him, dude. 4,800 yards.
I mean, he may put up 5,500 yards. I don't even care. Like, Mahomes is going to put up just godly numbers no matter what. Kelsey's going to get a lot of them. But there's going to be a wide receiver getting them too. Most star quarterbacks, when they're that good, they get a wide receiver to the Pro Bowl. Almost always. So, JuJu should return to the Pro Bowl. I'm fully expecting it with, just playing with Patrick Mahomes. And also, he's super talented and underrated now. Is he top 10? No. But he's now a number one offense that he fits in, perfectly. I was mad because I wanted JuJu on the Ravens because great run blocker, physical. Thought he'd be perfect. And then the Chiefs got him, and I'm like, of course they got him. Just glad he's not in Pittsburgh because he's really annoying in Pittsburgh, having to play him twice a year.